Everyone. If you saw the previous episode of this whistling sound issue, since that time I was thinking it's the bad breather hose, and I put the new one. But spoiler, it will not resolve the problem. We'll continue to dig deeper. Next, you will see some video footages I made while I was replacing that breather hose. Maybe you'll find it helpful. But spoiler, it's also not was the root of the problem. From right side of the engine, it came out pretty easy, but from the left side of the engine, it's really tight in there. So right now I'm kind of shaking the hose and looking for the opportunity to squeeze it from this tiny spot, but you will see it's impossible. So to continue the video, first I remove the manifold. There is a few bolts, then also lose this tensioner, slide out the intake manifold, and finally was able to remove the hose. So as you can see, this one is kind of soft. So overall it feels soft, and also these ends also feel really soft. If you compare it to the new hose, I can barely bend it. So without removing the second manifold, I was able to slide it through this side, and it's actually came really nice. Right here, I just a little bit bend it over behind this fuel rail, and now it's in a properly position. It was really hard to squeeze this hose through this side, but through this side, all this thing came in. Installed the new hose, but for that I was forced to remove the intake header because there was no way to squeeze this tube, because right there you have the intake connected, and it was kind of a little bit even kinked in this way, so there's no way you can pass it through. And also reason for that was because right here there was extra casting material, so I file it down in the safe way, and right now I believe even after the installation of the intake cover, the next time it's gonna be possible to just squeeze the pipe through without removing this intake. So what we have here, we have the gasket, and this is all the bolts which we're gonna install and make it this way, so that way I didn't mess it up. Bought some torque wrench because we're gonna need to tighten it with 9 newtons. Okay, some bits and heads, also degreaser to remove the extra bags, and basically that's it. I'm going to prep the surface, so I already clean it, and it's nice and smooth. And by the way, if you're gonna look inside, you're gonna see the valves. If someone was interested, here's the valves right there. It's intake valves, and right there is something else. So the installation is pretty much straightforward. First I'm gonna need to put the gasket, then squeeze the intake, and then tighten it. part number of the fuel rail. And looking at the vacuum hose, this I cannot even bend with my fingers. It sits really nice and snug. And right here, so install it, put the clip. There is 2 screws, which is also holds the bottom of the throttle body. So there is always 4. So I'm not sure what the moment was right here. We'll see. Here is how the new gasket looks like. As you can see, on the old gasket there is some dips from the torque, and this one is not compressed. Okay, put the gasket under and trying to align it and make sure it will sit. And as you can see, there's something I was talking about. This is the area from the side of the intake cover where I was filed, and now this hose is not compressed. That should give me more space to fully put the intake and tighten it. Okay, just want to make sure it's fully seated. Okay, now I need to tighten it and then later align the gasket and torque it. Okay, to make the process easier, so I just aligned one bolt with the gasket and wanna a little bit make it gonna hold in this position. Okay, after I tighten it with the ratchet, these 2, so now I need to put the rest of the bolts, make sure the gasket is aligned, and torque it. Yeah, looking for the moments for those bolts using the service manual, and I found those are 9 Newton meters. Okay, put the rest of the screws. Just finally checking for the gasket. I want it to go down freely by hand. And that way I know it will sit on its position. Okay, after I put it with my hands, I'll just use the screwdriver, just barely make the contact. Then we're gonna torque it down. Looking at the VIS documentation, I didn't find any torque sequence, any pattern. I'll just probably gonna follow as the use probably the technique which I've seen while torquing the head. So it's gonna be maybe I'll do the 5 Newton meters starting from here, tick, this, that, and then finally I'll torque it to 9 newtons. Okay, let's turn on the key. Let's see. Not now, it's set to 9. So I'm gonna do something like 5. Okay, already 5. Okay, we'll proceed off camera. Okay, after I torque it with the 5, okay, let's do 9 newtons. That's it. Okay, that's it. All the bolts are tightened with 9 Newton meters. I also make the second pass. Some of them was a bit loose, was at 8, but seems like everything is hooked up properly. So I have that hose near the area where there was really tight. So when it's tightened and there is no any sharp edge anymore on here, but you can see how tighten this hose. So there is no way, I think you can remove this hose without removing this intake. Okay, the rest should be pretty simple. By the way, I tightened the throttle body also at 9 newtons. I also ordered this pipe, but I'm not gonna install it for right now. I'll do it later. And also I ordered these parts. This is these hoses, this one and this one. Okay, we'll start to do assembling. So now we're gonna install the intakes and be patient, pay attention to this lower clip. Even in the service manual it says be careful, because when you install it, it goes kind of inside the throttle body housing, and if it will break, it might potentially get inside of the engine. So pay attention to move it over the throttle body hole. Another thing why for now I don't want to install this pipe, because it's gonna give really high tension. Maybe I'll do it later, but for now, to get this box in and out, it's easier when this one is more flexible. See right here, so I'm applying all the power from my fingers, and this is how it's bent. Then look at this one. So the rubber with the time becomes soft. I believe maybe it starts to contain oil or something like that, but it's the difference. That's why these hoses also was soft and didn't make the high tension. The way how I found it, so I'll just put it this way, then go and make sure that the bottom clip is going over the throttle body. So maybe you put your hand under and make it out that way. So I'll make the focus. See, it's right there. So you need to move it over. In doing that, I found if you grab here, will kind of bend it this way. It will, because it's flexible, it's gonna allow you to make that pin over the hole. Okay, after you did that, just try to a little bit put it on its place, and don't forget there is also the areas where it's supposed to go inside. First is right here, so a little bit push it to the top, and it's just completely sits. And right here goes like this way, so this side is fully seated. Okay, I will sit the other side, then I'll make sure that we're gonna wiggle it, push it from this side, make sure the bottom clip will hold. Okay, this one is fully sitting. You see this clip goes over, and it's not going anywhere. And also don't forget to connect these hose back to the breather. Just like that. Okay, it seems like it's now assembled and ready for the start. So the RPM is about 800 and it's kind of shaking, but this is how it was before. Plus this car was sitting for about 7 days without start, so I'll just let it warm up. Okay, so what my thoughts? That's the CBS pump making noise. Probably it's supposed to be like that, because when you don't very often driving the car, so now it stops, you might forgot some mechanical sounds it's making. Okay, so far no check engine. The engine works a little bit rough, but it's I believe always been like that when it start. Maybe I'll need to clean the throttle body. So right now I'm gonna put the pipes and cover, and we're gonna take the car for a spin. Okay, before I forgot, let's replace these pipes. See, we have the AMG logo right here, and also have it right here, and this end is longer. Yeah, should be like that. So this one is this one. Okay, here is the old one, new one. Not sure if there was any kind of sealant, but I don't have any sealant. I'll just probably gonna install it this way. I'm gonna lubricate it with a little bit of water. Okay, just like that. So we also need to hold it from this side because it's really high tension. Okay, so this hose is replaced. So now we can start the car again. By the way, interesting, this seems like connection port where you can connect the gauge to check the fuel pressure. Okay, as you saw, I put everything back, but I'm still getting the whistling sound from this side. Okay, so I removed the filters, and I know the whistling sound coming somewhere from this area. I don't want to think like this, like something is getting the high, really high pressure. And I was thinking this is this breather, but this one is dry, and the only one place where I see the oil, that's it's right here, right here. Okay, you've seen everything. So it looks like it's time to go to the service. So I want them to take a look.